I'm Gareth Pinsale for Golf Business, and we're here at Money 2020 in Riyadh. And it's been quite an amazing event. It's a lot of fintech providers, a lot of global providers who are here. And we have a very special guest. He's flown all the way in from China, is that correct?
I'm actually based in Singapore, but you may say I fly from China because I'm a mainland Chinese.
Great. Okay, so can you introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Okay, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Wenhui. I'm based in Singapore, the CEO of Tenpay Global, which is a fintech global payment platform from Tencent Group.
Great. So Tenpay, it's part of the massive Tencent Group, which is a giant in the tech world. Saudi Arabia, what are the market prospects for a business like Tenpay here?
Okay. Yeah, first of all, probably I should say a few words about Tenpay Global, Tenpay Global, and also overall about the Tencent fintech. All right. Thank you for your very nice introduction. Indeed, we are one of the leading tech company from China. We have covered quite a wide range of business, and fintech is one of our key business pillars. When we talk about Tencent, then most of people will say, oh yeah, WeChat or Weixin is a leading social media from China, and then subsequently WeChat Pay or Weixin Pay is a leading payment application from China as well. Then what's the relationship between Tenpay Global and WeChat Pay or Weixin Pay? So basically, Tenpay and Tenpay Global are the business brands established to link or to build the Weixin Pay and the WeChat Pay ecosystem. And particularly for Tenpay Global, we are D123 registered in Singapore with the MPI license granted by MAS. And with Tenpay Global, we are actually building the payment platform to link the Weixin Pay and WeChat Pay ecosystem with the rest of the world. And if we go a bit deeper, all right, so what we are doing exactly? There are three main business pillars we are doing. The first one, we call it cross-border consumption, which is to help the Chinese travelers going abroad so they are able to use the most used mobile payment tools, Weixin Pay, right, in the global or in the overseas markets. The second, we are also helping the international travelers to make their payment experience in China easier, leveraging on our Weixin Pay ecosystem in the whole country. So that's we call it the cross-border consumption. The second thing we are doing is called cross-border remittance, which we are helping the people in the overseas to send their money back to China through their Weixin Pay account. And the third thing we are doing is actually on the cross-border e-commerce, or rather cross-border commerce. Why? Because there's an increasing connection on the trading side. And then subsequently, there's always a need to manage the money movement across the border. So this is where we also see we can contribute in quite significantly to this particular scenario. And knowing Saudi and the whole Middle East actually is a key region in the global payment footprint. Right? If you look at the landscape of the payment in the whole global market, the Middle East is quite unique. And Saudi is the largest market from Middle East. So this is where we see, well, we have making some progress in this part of the world, and we see with the increasing needs, we will be able to bring more benefit to the users in this part of the world.
Interesting. So looking at your ecosystem that you've got, it sounds to me as if it's mainly geared for the Chinese market and that Chinese market that is increasingly moving to other parts of the world, and they either want to send money back home or they want to transact. So what about the local play within the market like this? So would you see Saudis, for example, taking on your products, or is it more for if you're coming from the mainland and you're arriving here and you're able just to have that connection to back home?
Actually, our business model is quite open. What we do is we just open up our ecosystem and to welcome the business partners from the local market, right? So we work with local fintech companies, we work with the local remittance companies, we work with the local banks, and also we connect with the local payment gateways, even national payment gateways. This is where we see only when we put our hands together, right, we will be able to make the pie much bigger. If if when we talk about, say, for example, remittance, how we make it work, all right? So basically, we will always invite the local remittance house or the online remittance platforms to connect with us. So we are playing a role, particularly for Tenpay Global, we are playing a role as a gateway to help the rest of the world connect to China. And on the cross-border payment side, it's the same. China has been the pioneer on the QR-based payment. So now today, if you look at the whole landscape in China, we will say most of the retail payment is done by QR. And initially, for the rest of the world, it was not that much on the QR payment. But we see very quick development on the neighboring markets. Now is moving into fairly remote areas. Most of the developing, even some of the developed economy, is moving into the QR payment, into the real-time payment. So which means we are adopting similar technologies, or exactly the same technologies, but with different kind of standards. And how can we harmonize, right? I get the interconnectivity within each other. So this is another role we are playing, right? So as I mentioned, as we are doing the interoperability for the cross-border payment, we are actually enable the local wallets to be able to go to the China. If we talk the remittance, even from this part of the world, we work with a local social media platform called the Botim, right? So it's kind of bringing those two, social media and the fintech ecosystem connected together. And moving forward, we will see more and more, hopefully, and we are very confident to say, we will see more and more mobile payment tools, digital banks, even the online banking apps will be able to go to China and scan the China QR code. That makes the life for the international travelers, and particularly for the travelers in this region, to go to China much easier. And that will increase the interconnectivity on the business side, but also on the personal side, which we feel it brings a lot of value to society. Anyway, to Tencent, our corporate slogan is tech for good, value for user. So hopefully we will deliver some interesting and valuable services to the local users here.
Great. So just the last question. I think China has really innovated in terms of like the payment with QR codes. I went to China last year and it was quite amazing to experience that. It's something that hasn't really taken off in other parts of the world. Why do you think that is?
You are quite right. Initially, China is the pioneer to go for the QR-based payment as a new technologies, right, to overcome the payment cost when we go with conventional payment tools. But it's not only the cost, but it's also the convenience, and it's also the lifestyle. It goes with the mobile-based lifestyles, right? And it can penetrate into a lot of different user cases. And for the rest of the world, I think it's a matter of time. Right? When we started this in China, we were also not too sure whether it would take off in China or not. Eventually, it did. Right? And then we start to see the Chinese users, when they move abroad, they start to request to use the QR payment in the overseas markets. So that's the very first step of our internationalization. And by serving the Chinese travelers, we also notice that the industry, the payment industry in the overseas markets, start to learn and understand the value of the QR payments. And it's not only the industry itself, but it's also regulators. The value sits in, it becomes a cost-efficient tool to overcome the overall payment cost issue for most of the developing countries. And it's quite interesting, right? We notice more and more countries are actually moving into the QR-based and as well as the real-time account-to-account based payment. In quite a lot of Southeast Asia countries, for example, they have established the national QR standard. They go for a national QR network, and then this significantly reduces the payment cost for the domestic economy, which is a great thing. We also start to see this is happening not only in the Southeast Asia region, but also in the other areas, such as in Africa, even in Middle East, as well as in the remote area like Brazil, right? We know Pix is doing a fantastic job in that area. So we see We are very happy to see as a pioneer of the QR payment, all right? We are very happy to see, eventually it becomes one of the things the whole industry is picking up. The next question is, once we have those adoptions or implementations in different markets, how can we make sure those dots can be connected, right? So that makes people's life even easier. As you mentioned, last year when you traveled to China, that's the moment when we enabled WeChat or Weixin app to link with the international credit card, right? So you would be able to download the app, link your international credit card, then you make a QR payment in the country. Now we want to make one step further, all right? Would that be possible to bring the international mobile payment tools to be able to use in China, just as you use it in your home country? July, PayPal and us, we jointly made an announcement. We say that we're gonna make PayPal and Venmo as a leading global wallet to be able to use in China, scanning WeChat Pay QR or Weixin Pay QR, which is done by Tenpay Global. So we believe that kind of initiative would be something meaningful, and hopefully we will have more and more friends join us, especially the friends like from Middle East region.
Right. Well, thank you so much. It's been fascinating chatting with you, and I wish we had a lot more time, but all the best at Money 2020, and thank you for taking the time to talk to golf business.
Well, I think it's my pleasure, and we don't have yet that much voice broadcasted in this part of the world. So we appreciate the opportunity golf business gave to us, and hopefully with your support, we would be able to find more and more friends and make our business as well as a friendship even bigger and better.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.